Alright guys, how are we doing? Week 2. Woo! Alright, I'm the only one that's excited. Alright, so, like Aaron said, we have a Facebook workshop coming up tomorrow. It's going to be really cool. They're teaching us thing called GraphQL. It's pretty advanced stuff, but it's super awesome, so you guys should check it out during their sponsor lecture as well as their workshop. But our main course of action for today is twofold. We're going to do some recap. Basically, we're going to go over what we did last week and kind of apply it to your own projects. And then we're going to learn something called Socket to make your apps like real time and kind of nice and like more flowy with our new framework. But first, let's talk practical recap. So the reason why I call this a practical recap is because I'm not going to be going over everything we did last week, but I'm going to be going over the main things and how to apply them to your own projects, because that's why you care. Right, so that's kind of the idea going forward. So we're going to spend about half an hour, maybe an hour or so. I'll stop for questions no matter what. It's going to be super informal, but this is the time to get your questions answered. Okay? We're going to try to tell what we did last week. Most importantly, how are you going to use it in your own websites? So, day 1, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Right? So this is the first day. We learned about the building blocks of all websites. It's HTML, CSS, which is cascading style sheets, and JavaScript. I like to think of them as these 3 things. Okay, so HTML is like the skeleton of your website. They're like bones, right? So they kind of define what your website's going to look like in terms of structure. So there's a bunch of boxes, right? I think Jessica talked a lot about boxes. And then JavaScript like makes your website move around, so you can like make pages change and stuff, and you can like make things like move or like dynamically update things. That's using JavaScript. And then CSS is like make it look like a real person. Right, so that's all the styling stuff that we talked about. And we're going to do more of that this week because that's actually really important for you guys, because pretty websites are great and we like it a lot. And then finally there's mobile CSS, which I don't even know. Okay, so this is why we don't teach mobile CSS in this class, because everything just goes away. You guys should try looking at your websites on your phones after you're done. It's going to be weird. So there's that. Okay, so, and then on day 2, we moved on from HTML, JavaScript, CSS. We're going to learn React. And everybody's like, oh my god, what just happened? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that. React is just an easy way to build JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. Okay, that's it. It's the same thing. We're just making it a little bit easier to build more complicated websites. So at the end of the day, React just gets converted back into the stuff we talked about on the last slide. Right? So it's just like a toolkit. So I want you guys to think of it as a tool. Don't think of it as like something that's going to hinder you. But the main idea behind React is it allows you to split your user interface, like your website, into components, different chunks. Okay, that's kind of the important part here. So when you're writing your own websites, and you guys choose to do it in React, what I want you guys to do is essentially just look at your website and be like, okay, where are the chunks here, right? And then just make a component for each one. Okay. And then we talked about making components. We're going to get more practice with that today. But the first step really is to identify, like, okay, where are my components? And then you just split them up and then write them. And it sounds simple, but you know, it's a little bit more tough than that, as we've seen. But that's kind of the basic idea, right? And we can see it in a website like this. This is Airbnb, right? You have like a lot of different components here, right, guys? Like this is probably a component. This nav bar is probably a component. This stuff is probably a component. And each individual one of these things is also probably a component. So you just make a component for each one, and then you just render stuff. Yeah, it's Paris. Paris is cool. $71 a night. Wow, that's a bargain. All right, so in this website, we just noted that it's Paris, right? It's not like London. It's not like New York. It's Paris. And your website needs to show that. Okay? So Airbnb, if you pull up this exact screen where you type in London, it'll look really similar, except like the cities will be different, the map will be different, and like the prices might be different, right? That's all data. You guys are all going to have data in your websites, right? Like the most basic kind of data is like user data. So when you click on a profile, it should show a different profile depending on whose profile you're on. Yeah? So we have data in our apps, they need to live in a state somewhere. Okay, so now we're getting to the whole like states versus props thing that is really confusing. But let's pull away from everything else and let's just break it down in very simple terms. State, all data needs to live in a state somewhere. Okay? And it can only live in one component. So like this price, it's a state, and it lives in a component somewhere. Only one. Only one. But you guys can see that it shows up multiple places, right? It shows up here, and it shows up here. So in order to share states between two components, we can just pass them as a prop. That's the difference, okay? So I'll say it again. Data lives in states. So it needs to live in a state somewhere. If you want to use that data in another component, you pass it as a prop. Okay? And you can pass anything as a prop, but we use it a lot of the time to pass around states. Any questions on that? Because I know it's been a point of confusion for a lot of beginner developers in React, because it's confusing. It's hard to kind of back in mind. Still feel okay about that? Questions? No? Questions on the doc? No? Okay. Cool. We'll go good, hopefully. Okay, so that's the difference between states and props. How are you going to use it practically in your app? Whenever you have data, put it in a state somewhere. If you need it in another component, like that price, right? That price. Maybe it's held in a state in another component, and we pass it as a prop down to these two, right? Or it can be a state in this like left side big component, and we pass it as a prop into the little dude. Probably not, but maybe that's the case, right? You kind of hold the state in one place, and then pass it as a prop to everybody else. Okay. Sweet. All right. No questions. That's good. I'm gonna pause for like 10 seconds so people like can ask things. Because React is weird, and I was hoping that people feel a little bit better about it. Okay, give me thumbs. Oh wow, really? Y'all just woke up over the weekend and loved React? All right, yeah, I'm down. all right, that's awesome. All right, sweet. Okay, so cool. Well, you can ask me after class, or we can talk about it, or you can raise your hand whenever you want. Let's move on. So also on day 2, close that door. Okay. Also on day 2, we talked about JavaScript, right? And this, we kind of rushed through JavaScript. I really regret that. Next year, I think we'll take a little bit more time for it, because JavaScript is the building block. He's nodding like, yeah, you guys messed up. JavaScript is the building block for React, right? All your stuff is mostly in JavaScript with some like HTML tags mixed in, right? So let's talk about JavaScript. Map. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about. Because everybody's confused on map. So like, what is going on with map, right? What is this thing? I don't know. Well, let's use an example. Okay, so let's say we have a turtle. His name is Billy, okay? Billy the turtle. All right, hi Billy, yeah. So, and we have this like box called Pimp My Turtle. Okay? Basically, this box's job is to pimp turtles. Alright? But the thing is, it will only pimp your turtle if your name starts with a B. So it's just a function, right? It takes in a turtle and it outputs another turtle. I got this inspiration from somebody who pitched me like a turtle idea over the weekend, and then I really like turtles. Anyways, the point is, turtle, right, goes into the function, comes out, pimped out. Okay, so yeah, it happened. Okay, so if his name Billy starts with a B, right? Goes in the function, comes out with a hat. Okay, but if your name's Alfred, you'll go into the function and you don't get it because you don't start with B. Alright, cool. Okay, so everybody understand this function? Takes that turtle, pimps you out if you have your name starting with a B. Okay. So that's just a function, right? It takes in a turtle and it outputs another turtle. Okay. So, what if we have a list of turtles? Right? So we have a line of little turtles, and what we want to do is we're like, well, we know how to pimp one of the turtles, but we want to pimp all the turtles, right? It's like we're efficient, we want to pimp them all. So, if you want to pimp out all the turtles, we're going to call map on this array. Okay, so here's how that works. We'll say this list of turtles, turtles.map, and then we're going to pass in a function. We're going to pass in a function that's like, we're going to take each turtle and pimp it out. Okay, so here's what it looks like. So we have a little line of turtles. All right, so Alfred walks up to the function box and he's like, all right, let's go in. And he doesn't get a hat. Okay, and then Billy comes up and he's like, oh yeah, I got a hat, right? Okay, and then we keep going. And Charlie gets a hat and doesn't get a hat. Shane doesn't get a hat. Booga Booga gets a hat, right? And then at the end, we have a pimped out line of turtles. That's all map is. It's just turtles going into a box. But in your case, most of the time, it's a list of stuff going. Most of the time, it's a list of things going into a function, and we're applying that function to every single thing on that list. It's going to output a new list. So just, we're going to transform every single element of that list. Yeah, question?
Could we just put in pin my turtle without the arrow or the T's or anything?
We could put in, instead of turtles.map t arrow pin my turtle, we could just put in turtles.map pin my turtle. Okay, and then it would kind of infer that. The reason why I put the arrows there is because this is kind of like, it makes it a little more clear. So you can see there's a function going on, right? But yeah, you could just put it in my turtle. Other questions? Yeah?
Does map run in order on your right, or does it just all go at once?
It goes in order. So the order in which we got our turtles was this. The Booga Booga's happened second to last, and at the end, Booga Booga is still second to last. So the order will be retained. Good question. Any other questions? Yeah.
Sometimes we do the index. What's up with that?
Sometimes you have the index. What's up with that? Yeah. So map takes in an optional argument. So you can put in like t comma I, and then I will automatically populate with whichever index you're on. So if you're currently on, Booga Booga, then you'll be on, I will equal 4, right? Because 0 is index. So that'll help us later when we're writing React components, and we'll see in a second. And that's a great segue into our next point, which is that you usually use map in the context of React when you have a list of things. It's like a list of data or something like that, right? And you're trying to get out a list of components because that's what you want, right? Like let's say you have a list of posts. Yeah? You don't want to just render one post. You want to render a list of posts. So you call a map function on that data and turn it into a list of components. And then bam, you can render that. Because rendering a list of data doesn't look very good. Okay, and we're actually going to see that a little bit later today when we're doing our work. So just to recap, map will apply a function to every single element in an array. And we can use it when we're kind of making a list of components out of a list of data. That's where you're going to see it. Okay? Questions about that? Oh yeah, question.
If the function takes 2 inputs,
Mm-hmm.
and you have that t comma I, would I be like the second? Is it like if you have a third?
That's a great question. Let's look at that. So the question was, how is the function take 2 inputs, right? With the t and the I? The question. Let's see. Hello. Okay, so here's how that works. Okay, so you would do something like, can we see? Yeah? Thumbs up, you can see. All right, so you do turtles.map, right? You're gonna map your turtles. And then instead of passing it, so originally it was this, right? Then it was like pimp my turtle t. All right, something like that, yeah. Okay, so if you're gonna pass in 2, you're just like, sweet. I'll pass in 2 things like that. Okay? And then you could pimp your turtle, and then maybe you could so maybe put some curly braces to make it a little more clear. So again, it's just a function. And we'd be like, all right, we're gonna pimp my turtle, and we're also gonna log out the index element. So that's how you pass in 2. Just like first value, comma, second value. Okay? Was that what you're asking? Oh, I got it. Yeah. That's a good question. So the question was, if we're applying a map on a function that takes 2 arguments, what's up with that? What happens? Right? Okay, so the thing here is you can't really call, it'll error out if you call map on a function with 2 arguments when you are only giving it 1. Right? So pin my turtle not only took the Turtle, it also took like an index, we could do t, I in there, right? But if it took 2 arguments and we gave it 1, then it would freak out and kind of die, right? So it's exactly the same as any other JavaScript thing that we do, right? We pass it in here if it took 2 arguments. Yeah.
So when you're using map, if you pass in a second argument, it automatically knows that the second argument is supposed to be an index?
You mean this thing, right? The I?
Yeah.
Yep. So you can pass in Bob Joe, and Bob Joe will be your index. And you can look at that by looking at the documentation for map online, if you guys are curious. The first index, or first element, like the argument, argument is always the current list element that you're applying the function to. So in our case, it's a turtle. The second argument is always the index that we're on. Great question. Any other questions on the map? We're gonna see it again. Do you kind of, is that a little better? Okay, yeah, we can talk about it after class too. Anything else? All right, sweet. Okay, this is not my slides. Where are my slides? Where are my slides? There they are. Okay. So, second JavaScript thing we're going to go over, promises, because that was also a little bit confusing. So, what is a promise? You guys remember, like, there was this whole discussion on, like, asynchronous programming and blah, 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 and HTTP, and Noah's gave you a lot of memes and stuff, right? It was a great time. So, what do we actually want? Well, in your code, when you're looking at, like, React and stuff, your promises will most likely be a get or a post request. Almost always. Right? Most of the time, it's going to be a get or a post request. So, this get function, it returns a promise. And a promise is just like, a little placeholder for something that's going to get populated in the future. Okay? So for now, this thing is just a promise. But eventually, we'll populate it with whatever we get back from the get request. And then, right? Once we get it back, we call this what's called a callback function, which is just a fancy word for saying like, hey, here's what we're going to do once the get request returns. Do some stuff with the data. Because the get request, you guys remember, it takes a while, right? You guys ever have problems like MIT secure? You know, you can't like connect to the internet? Yeah, it happens all the time, right? It's like MIT secure. So this thing isn't going to return immediately. It's going to take some time. And while we're waiting for that thing to return, your web page can't just sit there, right? Otherwise your users will be like, why are you stuck? Like, what's going on here, right? So while we're waiting for this to return, we can do other stuff. And then we specify what happens once this guy comes back. What happens once that data gets populated? Well, we'll do some stuff with it, whatever that is. So in your code, it's okay if you don't understand promises, just do this, okay? This is the endpoint you want to hit. All right, so you fill it in under the getter post. And then, whatever you want to do with it after it returns, put it in here. Good enough? Okay, so you can copy the syntax. So get the thing, dot then, and then do some stuff with whatever comes back. Same thing with post. Questions? Questions on it? Yeah?
In general, is the reason why you have to use promises that JavaScript is asynchronous, but some things you want to enforce synchronousness?
No, so the idea here is that promises, this function is asynchronous, right? And that means that if we just assign it to a value right here, right, it would still be a placeholder. So the alternative here is, what if we do like get API stories and set that equal to like temporary, right? And then down here you say console.log temporary. That doesn't work because JavaScript is going to get to the get request and it's going to run it, right? But nothing's come back yet, so temp is still empty. And then we're going to console log it. There's nothing there, right? So the promise makes sure that we wait for the get request to come back before we do anything else. So it's enforcing synchrony on this particular book. That's the answer. Other questions? Okay, how do people feel about promises? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Oh, okay, so some thumbs middle. I see some middles. Okay. Yeah, Nick.
Alex, how do we know if a function returns a promise?
That's a great question. How do you know a function returns a promise? In your code, all the gets and the posts return promises. Okay, so that's where you're going to see the most. If you're not sure, go look at the documentation. So just search up a function online or something, like these library functions. They'll tell you if it returns a promise or not. If it returns a promise, you can use this .then syntax to do stuff. Okay? That's kind of the idea. Most things, well, actually, I don't know, most things don't return promises. Right? They won't deal with return promises.
If you see something that requires online a callback function, that's usually a good hint that there might be a promise equivalent of it. But that's not always the case, because there might be like, on click you want to do something. That has a function you want to run when you click something. And that's not really related to promises. So
just look it up, guys, if you're unsure
Yeah.
if it's promise or not. And if you're really unsure, or you're unsure, just pull something else and we'll tell you if it's promise or not. Yeah, we can do your documentation. Or Nick will do your documentation, because he's always on Piazza. Okay, you guys notice Nick's always on Piazza.
Nick is
This
great.
guy's like glued to his phone. I swear. He's like, Piazza, oh no. 1 minute is lost now. Okay, any other questions on promises? Yeah. Okay, and don't worry too much, guys, if you don't really understand asynchronous programming. This stuff is some weird stuff, let me tell you. Alright? Just in your projects, just do this. Okay, so just get it and then do stuff with it. That's all you need to know. Alright? Other question. Yeah.
Where is the data from the request stored?
Where is the data from the request stored? Great question. So when the data from the request, you mean the request going out or the response coming back?
The response.
The response coming back. So when the response comes back, the data will get stored in whatever argument you pass into this function. Always. Okay? So let's say you're making a get request for turtles. You could turn this into turtles, and then console log turtles, and then the turtles will come out when they get out. So whatever you want to do with their stuff right here. Anything else? Great question. Yes, you
So what happens if like the get request fail? Will the second part ever run?
That's a great question. No, if the get request fails, this thing won't run. And to quote Aaron Sipser, you guys don't have to worry about failure in this class.
There's no failure.
There's no failure in this class. No, I'm just kidding, guys. If you guys are curious about what happens when things like promises fail, they do fail sometimes. You can go check out the documentation online. But for your guys' projects, like if your thing fails, it's just like, it's fine. We don't need to store it. Like, don't worry too much about it. Like dealing with failure is like a step 4 kind of thing, you know. First, you want to make sure you can actually get the thing. But don't worry. Coming off that.
The only time it is if it's seriously impacting the use of your website, such as you're using something which is very flaky, then you will probably have to start thinking about it. But for the most part, the internet's going to work for your project.
Hopefully. If your internet cuts off, you have bigger problems, right? You can't load anything. So. Anyways, another question. These are great, guys. This is fun. Alright, okay. Who feels confident they can write one of these in their project now by copying this template? Hands up. Yeah. Oh, pop it. Alright, good. So, that's all we need. That's all we need. Alright, if you can copy this and replace it with post, life is great. Okay, so let's talk about servers, right? So we've been doing a lot of front-end stuff currently, and then we had some server talk. But what exactly is a server? So this is a little bit confusing, but right now, all your computers, okay, when you're like logging on Facebook.com or like YouTube.com, you're all clients. So you're going up to the YouTube server and you're like, hey, get me some videos. I want to watch some BuzzFeed, right? And then the YouTube server is like, oh yeah, okay, here, and it like throws you a video. So a server is like the central brains of the website. So when you guys make all your websites, you're gonna have one server, and we're all gonna connect to it when we create it. Okay? So we're gonna go onto your website, and it's gonna connect to your server and get some data back. So really all it is just a computer running somewhere that's doing all of your stuff. And the clients will connect to it and get stuff from it. So you can communicate with the server via these things called endpoints. You guys remember we talked about like APIs, right? And there were a lot of memes. Was that the one with a lot of memes? Was that kind of much? I forget. Anyway, we have APIs, right? And this is like, there's a lot of mumbo jumbo here, but what I want you guys to gain from this and what's useful for your own projects is that an endpoint is just a place for your client to talk to your server. In other words, it gives the client a set of rules. Like, hey, you client, you're only allowed to do this, okay? You're allowed to request for who you are, and you're allowed to give me some stores. That's all you're allowed to do. So all it does is it says, here are some set things you can do. Each endpoint has one job, okay? So this endpoint's job is to post stories. So you can post yeet.me, and the server will be like, alrighty, okay? You can't ask for this endpoint for what your name is. It'll be like, I don't know. My only job is to post stories. Why are you asking me? So you ask this endpoint when you want to know who you are. So for you guys, every time you want your server to be able to tell something to your client to ask something of your server. So every time you want me to be able to log into your page and ask your server for something, make an endpoint. That's it. Okay? And you can make an endpoint just like we've done this entire time in API.js, and then we can just call that endpoint from the front end, and we'll get past that today. But the idea here is that APIs are just a set of places where this client come in and be like, yo, what's up, dude? Give me some stuff, right? Give me something. Okay, questions on that? Yeah.
So we have servers because we don't want the client to be able to directly access the MongoDB or whatever database with our authorization.
Yes, that's one of the reasons why.
Where should we host the servers for our website?
That's a great question. So the first question was, the reason why we have server, one of the reasons why we have the server is so the user can't just come in and look at our database, right? So how jank would it be if Facebook, you could just go into the Facebook server and go immediately to its database and be like, huh, look at all these posts, that's so cool, right? They don't allow that. And that's because their API only allows you to access your posts, your endpoints, right? The second question is, where are we gonna host our server? We're gonna host on this thing called Heroku. And we're gonna do that this week. So stay tuned for more updates. But that'll come later. For now, you guys are hosting it on your own computer, which is confusing because your computer is a client and a server at the same time. Like, what's up with that? Yeah? But when you run npm start, we're not using class. When you run npm start, you're running a server on your computer, okay? And then when you type stuff into Chrome, you're querying that server. In the future, we're going to move that server off your computer. It's like, you don't want to host your server on your computer because you can shut it down and stuff. Right? Other questions? Good question. Okay. Who feels confident in knowing what an API endpoint is now? Raise your hand. Bit better. Okay, that's good. Okay, so again, just know all you need to do is write these endpoints. So write an endpoint on your server and just call it. That's all you need to know how to do. Okay? Alright, so we're moving on, we're chugging along. Alright, databases. So databases are pretty fun. Basically, we're adding on another thing. Okay? So you have your server, your user, your client, and then now we have this database. Okay, so I don't want you guys to worry about the specifics of your like DBMS or whatever, all that other mumbo jumbo that we talked about last week. I want you guys to know how to use this thing. So here's really what you need to know. You have a schema. What's a schema? A schema is just like a blueprint. Okay, so for a schema for me is like, my name is Alex. I like tomatoes, and I'm wearing blue, and I have a bad fashion sense. Right? Okay, so those are all things about me, right? So that is like a blueprint. So we can say I have a name, I have a fashion sense, I have a favorite food. What's my last name? I'm wearing blue. My shirt color, whatever, right? It basically says here is what a thing is. So here's what a story is. It has a creator name and a content. And then whenever you want to do stuff to this schema, you can just use that cheat sheet that we linked and just copy paste that stuff in, okay? And then do stuff to it. It's the same for everything. Everything you need to know about MongoDB is on that cheat sheet. You just copy that stuff. Every time you want to make a save, you just copy the save function in, and you're done, okay? There's nothing else you need to do. All right? So, this thing defines who we are. So every single time you guys want a new, thing on your website. For example, let's say we want to have a website dedicated to pimping out turtles, right? So we probably want a turtle schema, so we can store all our turtles. And they might have a name and a favorite vegetable, yeah? And that would go into the schema. And then when you want to make a new turtle, you just save it using that stuff in the cheat sheet. Okay? Just copy paste the cheat sheet in, replace whatever was on there with turtle, and then you're done. Okay, questions on that? Anything? Okay. So this stuff should be, like, databases, we try to make them as copy pasteable for you as possible. So you should be able to just copy paste all this stuff over. Do we feel okay about that? Yeah? Okay, thumbs on databases? Okay, that's good. Okay, good. Auth, okay, let's do auth. Okay, so auth is black magic. Okay, that's our official policy from now on. God, Corey's tilting. Okay, so from now on, auth is black magic. Okay, it does one thing. Okay, it doesn't actually. It's not actually black magic, but you don't really need to know what's going on for your web app. Okay, auth is a beast. Like that stuff is scary. Okay, you don't want people to like hack your stuff, so we don't even like. Yeah, just consider it black magic. That's our policy there. All it does is it populates this object. That's all it does, okay? In terms of for you. So all auth does for you is it populates rec.user. 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 Okay, that's all it does. Okay? 3 times for emphasis. This rec.user, it sits in your get or post request. And it tells the server, hey, who's making this request? So if I make a post request to a server, my rec.user will say Alex. Okay? And if I'm not logged in, my rec.user will say like null or undefined, right? So rec.user has 2 uses. It can tell you if you're logged in or not. So if you make a post request or get request and rec.user is empty, that means you're not logged in. If you make a post request and your rec.user is populated, it's populated with whoever you are, like your identity. So it allows us to do things like this. So when we're posting a story, right, we can fill in a rec.user and rec.username and ID, right? So it just gives us access to this rec.user object in our endings. That's all of this. Okay? That's all you need to know. Questions on that? Alright, thumbs? You guys think you can know how to use it? Yeah? Like in your own apps? It's okay if you don't understand what's going on. Just know you just pop rec.user in endpoints and it'll fill with the user magically. Okay? Alright, cool. I'll pause for 5 seconds for questions. Oh, right. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah, so now you authenticate with Google. So this is the updated view. Okay, last but not least, we're almost there. You guys are doing great. We're almost there. So, router. Router is weird, isn't it? So I was going to say router is also black magic on here, but I fear that might tilt too many messed numbers. So, I said Rage Router is a smart boy instead of black magic, but it kind of is. So basically what Rage Router is and what you need to know for your purposes, you can render based on whatever's in the URL bar. That's its purpose. Okay? So what this says is, okay, here's a router. And when we go to / render feed, we go to /profile /user ID, and this colon will talk about in a second, render the profile. Chatbook, render / when it's /chat, render chatbook. And everything else, which is default, render not found. Okay? So all it does is it renders based off the URL. That's all it's doing. So for you guys, let's say you want to create a web page about turtles, and you want to add it to Chatbook. Okay? You can just add a component here called turtles, a hidden component, and say the path equals /turtles. And it'll render right there. Right? Render right there. In fact, you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Won't that be fun? Maybe not turtles, but let's do it. Can you guys see this okay? Yeah? Everybody see okay? Excellent. Hands up if you can't see. Okay, so you guys see how I have app.js in the router here? So let's say we want to add a new page to our thing. And this is not supposed to be here yet. Alright, okay, so let's say we want to add a new thing, and I don't have any components besides the ones here, so I'm going to make a simple one. So remember how we wrote cat happiness? Yeah? Remember the cat happiness component from the first day? So we're going to say that, we're going to render that whenever we go to /yeehaw. Alright? Oops. Alright, nice. Alright. I remember the cat happiness took some prop, right? It took cat happiness. So we'll call that 5. Sweet. Okay, so that's all we did. We added a component here, and we started to render it, and we go to yeehaw. So let's see if that worked. Oh, please work. Ah, sweet. And there. It was easy as that. So when you guys want to add a new page to your website, just add a new component under your router. There's only one in your entire app. We already set it up for you. It's right here. Okay? Now the last thing is, you guys see this thing? This /user ID? You guys see the colon? You see the colon? Okay, so that's an easy way to be like, what if I want to use the URL inside my app? So instead, let's say we're gonna call this :cat happiness. And what that does is it says, the router is gonna look at this boy right here, whatever this is, and it's gonna assign it to the prop cat happiness. Okay, so now when we can go to yeehaw/10. And cat happiness render 10. Oh, it's amazing. And then we can render like 17. Oh, that's popping, right? So like this thing right here just adds a prop cat happiness and passes it into the cat happiness component. That's all it does. Okay? So for you guys, whenever you want a new page, alright, whenever you guys want a new page, just add a new component of the router, and you're done. Right? And tell us which path you want it to be at. Okay, who feels confident they can use router? Like just use, like add render as well. Okay. Alright. So that's it for recap, I think. Everything for recap. So I'm tired. Yeah, that's okay. Okay, so who has questions? Who has questions? Anything. Anything. All staff is here right now. Spend like 3 minutes. Okay. Anything? Wow. The weekend must have done good things for them. I'm telling you. Alright, great. Well, I hope that was helpful, guys, because, you know, you guys are going on to use your own apps now. The things we taught in this class, a lot of it, you know, you can kind of hand wave because we set it up for you. That's what I was trying to accomplish for you guys today. Okay? You can call off by and it's okay. Okay. Do you feel good? Yeah, a little bit, hopefully. Okay, well, you know, regardless, we're moving on, so time to get confused again. Alright, so who's ready for another really fast workshop? No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do another really fast one. We're going to go slow this time, okay? I promise. So the idea here is today we're going to do a workshop called Chatbook. And Chatbook is just Catbook with chat inside of it. And over the next couple of days, we're going to be working on Chatbook. Okay? I'll preface this with a few things. In a bit, we're going to code. Okay? So we're going to do the workshop. But I'm going to ask you guys, instead of coding with me, I'm going to ask you guys to just watch me code. It'll be like those Twitch streams where you watch like people code, you know? Alright, no. So when you guys code with me, I love it, it's great, it's awesome, but unfortunately it's a little bit slower, and Chatbook is a big doozy, guys. It's huge. So I don't really want you guys to have to write all this code we've already kind of covered. So I'm going to do it and explain every line I'm writing. Okay? And then when we get to the new stuff, I'll have you guys code with me. And then along the way, we'll have small exercises for you to do on your own. Does that sound good? Yeah? Okay, cool. I saw like 4 nods. It's good enough for me. Okay, so let's do it. So first, let's talk about what's happened so far. The story so far. We have this boy, right? You guys remember what this is? It's been a long time. It's componentry, right? All the components. Matt made this diagram. It was excellent. All right, so we have componentry, and then remember, this componentry is just all in the client, and it made, like right here, right? And then made a bunch of requests to server, right? So if we're gonna post a story, we can post like, Corey is a speedy boy, sir. And then the server can save it in MongoDB. So that's all we've done, plus some off stuff I didn't include on here because it's black magic. But we did this, right? So for the next couple of days, we're gonna move on. So if you guys open well.2/example, all right, and I will do it with you. So this is not what, if you'll work on the chicken ranch and your job is this is not going to come. have this thing called chat. Oh, look at all these people on chat. All right, don't spam chat, guys. We don't have like DDoS protection, okay? So we have a chat going on here, okay? This is what we're implementing over the next few days. So I will preface these two workshops by saying this. We're implementing chat in Chatbook. You don't necessarily need to put chat into your application, okay? Sometimes we don't need chat, right? Like, if your app is like, a restaurant thing where you're learning how to cook, you don't need to chat with everybody about it. And it's like, you don't need it. Okay, so don't feel the need to put chat in just because we put chat in, right? Yeah.
Do you need some kind of socket, like live updating?
No, but most of you will. Most of you will have some socket stuff in your app, just from what I've seen in pitches, because socket allows us to do really cool things. But you don't necessarily need it, I guess. But yeah, it's cool. You guys will want to put it. All right, anyways, so here's our chat. All right, let's see what's going on. We got the nav bar as usual. Then we have this like chat thingamabob going on here, right? And then we have this thing. It's like a place to put in new chats, right? And then we have like a feed of chats, and then we have some like open chats on the left side. Yeah? So we're gonna build it in React. And this time, we've been listening to your feedback, I promise. We've been reading it every time, and we know that you guys feel like we're kind of glossing over things too quickly, like we're kind of blackboxing a lot of stuff. So everything that you see here today, we're gonna code. Okay? We're not skipping any parts. So, but mostly it's gonna be me, because, I'm fast boy. But we're gonna do it together, okay? So, buckle your seatbelts, it'll be great. All right, let's see what's going on here. So, the next couple of days, we're adding on this boy. Okay, so that's what we're adding on to our original component. So, we have designed a chatbook for you already. Okay, and we're going to talk through how we designed it. When you guys make your own apps, you will have to design your own stuff. Make your own componentries, make your own APIs, but here's how we did ours. So, for the basic API, which is just the way the client communicates with the server, okay, we're doing this. We're allowed to make posts of /API/message, okay? And we can say, I love Aaron's sippy cup. Okay, so that's a post of a message, okay? And then we can save, I love Aaron's sippy cup into the messages database. And the database will be like, okay, I love Aaron's sippy cup has been saved. And it will say, okay, we're good. Okay, so that's the first thing you can do. You can post messages. Makes sense, right? You have to have some way of pushing messages to the server. And then you can get chats. So when we get a chat, we'll talk more about this in a second, but we're gonna also put in like what chat we're getting it from. Okay? Because if you're chatting with Aaron's sippy cup, then it's different from chatting with all chat, right? The messages you get will be different. Yeah? So we're including it as a parameter. But for now, we're gonna always get all chat. So we're always just getting all chat. Okay? So they want all chat, the server says. And the database is like, sweet. Alright, I'll give you back all chat. Look, Alex says I love Aaron's sippy cup. And then they'll be like, alright, I'll pass it back to the client. So those are the two main API routes that we're going to implement. So just a way to put messages in the database and a way to get messages off the database. That's all. Okay? Because that's what a chat application should have. Okay, remember, the client is just this component diagram. Okay, so don't divorce those. The client is just the component. So, the question now is, how does the server know who you are? Right? How does the server know who you are? I'll take a stab. Okay? So what if during our post to /API/message, we're like, I'm gonna say I love Aaron's sippy cup and my name is Alex. So we'll pass along my identity with I love Aaron's sippy cup. Okay? And then the database can be like, alright, I'll save that Alex said I love Aaron's sippy cup. So that works, right? You guys agree that works? There's an issue with it though. There's an issue. So what if I come along and I'm like, my name's Noah, and I'm gonna say that Noah is dumb, and I'll put that in the database. And the server will be like, your name's Noah? Oh, okay, sweet. And then it'll put Noah said Noah is dumb in the database. That doesn't work, right? I shouldn't be allowed to be Noah. Yeah? So instead, we use rec.user. So whenever I make a post to the server, remember we talked about this? Rec.user should already be populated. It should tell us who are you. It should know who the post request is coming from, right? So we can just use rec.user to figure out who the post is coming from. Sweet. So that's gonna be our game plan going in, all right? And I want you guys to remember that because it's gonna be important later. So here's our component tree that we're gonna talk about, and here's the server stuff that we're gonna do. Now here's the plan for the front end. We're gonna do all this together, so just bear along here right now. First thing we're gonna do is focus on this guy right here. Smaller part of the tree, so we don't have to deal with everything, okay? So just the chat app and the single message, new message. Where is that gonna be? That's this thing. Okay? So it's just this chunk. So we're not dealing with the left side yet. So today we're gonna implement this side. So let's talk about the state, yeah? Talk about the state. Oh, before we move on, sorry, I forgot to mention. Look up there and look up there. You guys see those? Okay, those are context slides being controlled by Nick. Nick, say hi. Okay, so we've made these context slides to tell you what we're working on, where it is in the big picture, and which file it's in.
It's gonna look like this.
It's going to look like that. So at any point, if you're lost, you can look at the context slide and see what's up, see what we're doing. Okay? So hopefully that'll help you guys get the big picture. Promise we're listening to you guys in class. I promise. Okay, so we're going to hopefully help you guys stay up to date with this. Okay? But if you go back, Nick, go back. Okay. So right now it's showing the component tree. Now we're going to talk about the state. Okay? So what we've designed for the state, remember, the state is just the data that's in the application, right? So what data does a chat app need? Well, we need to know what messages do we have right now, what messages, and also who we're talking to, right? That's pretty much all we really need for a chat app, messages and who we're talking to. So that's these two things, right? And we're gonna put them inside of a state, an object called active chat, And under active chat, we're gonna have a recipient and we're gonna have a list of messages. Okay, is that everybody okay with that plan? Yeah? So our state's going to be this thing called active chat. It's going to have a recipient and a bunch of messages. That's all we need to render our display, right? That's all the information we need. So we're going to put it in the state. Everybody follow that? Yeah? It's just the state. Okay? Okay. And here's what the passing around is going to look like. Don't worry if you don't understand this yet. We're going to do it together. So this state is active chat, right? We just did this. And then it's going to pass down this data to chat. And chat is going to pass the messages as a prop and a recipient to the new message. We'll do this, don't worry. Everybody's like, all right, we'll do it. But what I want you guys to get from this diagram is not so much that there's like the names of the props. I want you to see that this is a state, right? And other components need to access the state. So we pass it as a prop. Difference between states and props. Okay, that's it. So the state is all going to live in Chatbook, and we're going to pass the props down. Okay, is everybody good with the plan? Everybody good with the plan? We're good with the plan? Yeah? Questions on the plan? No questions on the plan? Alright, sweet. Plan an hour and a half. Alright, let's start coding. So, what we're going to do, we're going to make Chatbook right now, okay? Let's do it. Alright. So this is the part where I'm going to ask you guys to not code with me. If you really want to, just know that I will not wait for you. You will be left in the dust, alone, and it will be sad. Okay, so here's our thing. So I'll show you guys my setup going on here. Terminal. 3 terminal windows. I'm going to control C out all this. Clear. So this is from my dry run last night. Click, clear. Okay. 3 terminals. Right? Top one, we're going to use for our server. Okay? So new server terminal. This one's going to be for the hot loader, and this one is going to be for the Git stuff. All the Git stuff. So you guys can have a similar thing, 3 windows. Okay? Over here is our VS Code. Nicely set up with big font and a white background just for you guys. Right? And then over here, we have our local site file running. Yeah? Are you with me? So let's do the thing. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to code the new message component. Okay, if you look up on your screens on the top left and right, you guys can see what that is. The new message component is just, where is it? No, what the? What is going on? You can stop messing my workshop? Give me chicken tendies, be they crispy or from Wendy's. Okay, anyways, so new message is this boy right here. Alright, so this is what we're coding right now. Oh dear lord. Alright, hello friendos. It's this thing. This is what we're coding. Okay, so let's go do that right now. So we're gonna, excuse me, sir? Alright, so while I go today, I'm also gonna try to teach you guys some cool and hipster VS Code tips. So you guys can also be good at things like this. Alright, so when I want to go to a new file, alright, I'm gonna type Control or Command P. And I'm a Mac or a Windows user. And that's gonna pull up this menu right here, and I can type whatever I want, and it'll bring me that file. So I wanna go to new post input.js. Oh, I'm on the wrong branch. Am I on the wrong branch? No, I'm not. Sweet, okay. And you can see that new post input has a class called new message. This is a component, all right? This is a component. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill this component in now, right? So you guys are gonna kind of watch me as I go about my day. So in here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna call this other component called new post input, and that's the one we've been using so far. You guys have used it twice already. Used it once for new comment, and used it once for new story. You guys remember that? You guys put in like new post input. You were like, no, I don't. That was like 4 days ago. Okay, well, you used it. Okay, so basically this is just the input box. Okay, just the input box. And our default text, which is just what shows up when we make it. What do you guys want to call it? Let's say, put your new message here, dude. Okay, and then we're gonna have an onSubmit function. So the onSubmit function, right, is just what's going to happen when we submit the text, right? So we're going to pass a function in a second. And if you guys didn't know which props, you guys could just look. So we hover over new post input, and you can see that there are a few things we need to pass in. A default text, okay, a story ID, which is optional, so we're not passing it in, and an onSubmit. So we're good. We're good. Yeah, we're passing all the required props. Okay, so let's actually make that onSubmit do something. So outside, oh man, this is so big. Okay, well anyways, this is an onSubmit over here. I'm gonna pull this back here. Yeah, all right, nice. Okay, so over here, we're gonna have another function. And we're gonna call this send message, okay? And what it's gonna take is it's gonna take some value, and it's gonna send that value to the server, eventually. But for now, we're lazy, so we're just gonna console log in. Yeah, ever joke that? Because we're lazy. Okay, so now we have a component, all right, it returns a new post input, and we're gonna send a message whenever we click on something. So let's see how that is. So we're gonna do npm start. Huh? What? Oh, you're right. Oh, no. All right. So this thing is gonna say this next send message. So now when we submit it, we're gonna do send message. I'm gonna make like 20 million errors today. It's gonna be hilarious. You guys are gonna laugh at me. All right. So that's happening, and then we're gonna run the hot loader. Okay, hot load. Yeah. Okay, and we're gonna wait for it to finish. Blah blah. Oh dear lord. Oh, I didn't save. Alright. Nice. Okay, good job, team. Alright, so then we're in here. Nice. Now we can log in. We can go to chat, and nothing showed up. Why didn't anything show up? Well, it's because we haven't put the component into the actual, we haven't rendered it yet, right? Because we built the component, we didn't put the component anywhere. So let's do that. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put this in the chat, okay? So I'm gonna type Command P and then chat. That's gonna open up the chat file, right? And then now this thing is a big boy, so you guys are gonna watch me as I go. Now note, you guys remember what class name is? What is class name? Remember?
CSS styling.
Yeah, class name adds CSS styling. I wrote all the CSS files for you already, because those are boring. Sorry, Jeff. Just kidding. CS styles are great, but they take a while. So we've already styled everything for you. We're just writing everything else, okay? So we're gonna call this a new flex column, a chat container, okay? All right, and this is gonna go on some friends because we're good coders. All right, alrighty, and then while I mess around with my divs, let's add this thing right here. So what this is going to do is it's going to show us who we're currently chatting with. Huh? What? Oh, what?
It should be a dash, not an equal sign.
Oh.
Don't do opposite hours.
Yeah, okay. I'll come to office hours. So remember that you guys see up there how Chatbook is passing a prop of data in a chat? So we're referencing that right now. So we're saying this data's recipient is who we're chatting with. Okay, so we're putting that in here. So that's right? Cool. I don't know why this is not folded. And then what we're gonna put a new container here. Chat dash new container. Sweet. Okay. And oh my gosh. Okay. Get off my back, bro. Alright, and then we're gonna call new message here. Cool. Oh, return has a, okay, that's not what we want. Alright. Alright. So we're still not quite done, right? Because we haven't put this chat component inside Chatbook. Well, we're gonna do that later. Okay, in fact, you guys are gonna take part in this. So let's go back and we're gonna work on single message. Okay, so what's single message? Single message is this thing. Hello, coward. All right, this is a single message. All right, so this component right here is one single message. So we're gonna go implement that. Okay, now if you guys go look, and Nick is gonna change the slide. Nice. All right, so we're gonna press Command P, because I'm on Mac. We're gonna type in single message.js. That's going to bring us to the single message page, all right? And what we're going to do is we're going to populate the single message, okay? And I am going to write it, and I'm probably going to mess up my equals again, but it's fine. So we have a class name, and it's a uflex. It's an align center. So these two these two styles are just like, it's gonna be a flex box, and we're gonna align to the center. And it's also a container for our single message. Great, okay. And then inside, we'll put two things, okay? Inside we'll have this single message sender. You know, I made a vow never to live code in front of people because I always mess up. And here I am live coding in front of you guys, so that's fun. I want to put in this .props.message.sender.name. Okay, that was a lot. Let's analyze it. So what's going on here? Look up there. You guys see how we pass a prop of message into the message, single message thing? Message, right? Why do we pass it a prop of message? Well, because the message object is going to be what's rendered by the single message, right? So eventually you guys are going to render a bunch of these. Each one is going to have a message object. Now under this .props.message, there's a sender, okay? And the sender is just a user, and the user has a name. And you might be like, how did you know that, right? Well, first of all, I designed it, so I know it. But second of all, you can just check the user, like the message model in your in the server that will be put there, okay? And that will tell you all like because it's a schema, right? It's a schema. So
Or if you're curious about types, you can go to the link right up there and look at all the types that we've nicely defined.
Oh, yeah, I forgot we did that. Okay, so actually Nick did that last night, so if you guys go to that link up there, that's going to show all the types that we're using. And you guys can do this in your own apps too. Okay. All right. So we're going to put the sender name, and then we're going to have another thing. What's here? Okay. And it's going to be single message dash content. Inside this, we're going to do this.prompts.message.content. And you guys can see that the message object contains a content string inside the docs that we've defined for you. Okay, sweet. Do things still compile? Oh, they compile. Excellent. All right. Okay. Okay. Question. You guys following along so far? Yeah? Yes, question. How are you supposed to know what to use? You make your own styles. Okay, these are ones or that just go. Yeah. Workshop 7? Or,
You might need to run git pull before you.
oh, yeah, don't check it out yet. Don't check it out. Or you can if you want, I guess.
Just git pull first.
Yeah, so we're coding on the screen now. If you guys want to follow along your code, you can if you want. But you have to do a git pull first. Alright? Do a git pull and you can check out the workshop. Well, we're going to do that in a second. So don't worry about that. Like, you don't need to collide code with me. In fact, I'd encourage you not to just follow. Okay, next question. Am I going too fast or too slow? Okay, so like, is that just right? Okay, good. Because like, this could mean like, you're doing a mediocre job. You know, I don't know what this is. Okay. People good? I know this first part's boring, but you guys are going to start doing your own thing soon, so bear with me. Okay, so cool. We finished single message. Things are great. So we're gonna go back to chat now. Okay? So I don't know, I'm already on chat, but chat.js. And Nick is gonna change the slide. Oh, excellent. So now we're working on the chat component, right? And the chat component, well, what is it gonna do? This is where the map comes in, guys. This is where the map comes in. Because you guys look at the thing, we have this.props.data. That contains chat data, okay? Chat data contains a list of messages. We can't just render a list of messages, that's ugly. We need to render a list of message components, yeah? Okay, so if you don't know how to use map, wake up, all right? So we're gonna use map right now, all right? It's great. So, here's what we're gonna say, we're gonna make a div. This class name is gonna be chat-history container, okay? And this is again just a style that we've defined for you. In fact, we can go look at it if you guys want to. You guys want to look at the style really fast? See what it looks like? Yeah? No? Yeah, okay, let's take a look really fast. So I'm gonna press Command P, okay, to change class. And I'm gonna look at chat.css. Look at that. There's our history. But it's not that complicated of style. Bye guys, see you later. Thank you. Okay, so, sorry, I didn't get ashamed. I swear I didn't get ashamed. That was really mean. Sorry. Don't drop the class. Okay, oh, they're totally about the class. Alright, anyways, back to React and the important things. Oh my god, I'm gonna get fired. Alright. We're mapping stuff. Okay, so we have a list of messages and we want to map them. No one else is going to believe now. If you believe I won't say anything. Okay? So we have a list of messages and we want to map it to a list of components. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So this.props.data.messages. Okay, so this thing, what's this? This, you look at there. This.props.data is that prop that we're passing down. That's called data. Inside that data object is a field called messages. All right, it's a field called messages, and that messages contains a list of message objects. Okay, it's a list of message objects. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna deal with those. So we're gonna call map on it. Stop map. All right, stop map. And inside, okay, we're gonna do some stuff. In fact, we're gonna say, okay, we have a message, right? So for every single message, what do you want to do with it? Well, that's a great question, Alex. That's a great question. Thanks for asking. We want to do, oh gosh, is that right? Okay, that's nice. So for every single, get out of here. Okay. So for every single message, we want to create a single message. Okay, and the message, we're going to pass the message in as a prop. Okay, simple as that. We just mapped what that is. Huh?
Not in. The very
Oh, sad.
basic things. Scroll down a couple lines. This.props.data recipient.
playing with the kids. Okay, so this is a component, okay? And we're passing in this message as a property. So what this is going to do is going to look in this messages array, and for every single message in there, it's going to call this function. It's going to change that message into a single message component. And it's going to output that list of single message components. Okay? Yeah, everybody follow? Okay, but we're asking component because we don't have this key thing. Don't worry about this too much. But we're going to give it a key. And that basically allows it to know what to re-render more efficiently. You guys might have encountered it in your homework. Okay, sweet. So that's cool. So we have all this going on, right? Now what? What do my notes say? Oh, this thing. Okay. So now we finished chat. Yeah? Chat looks like it's in good shape. The next thing. Hey.
Nick, stop yelling.
Okay. Stop yelling. Okay. So the next thing we're gonna work on is Chatbook. So we're gonna finish Chatbook, and then everything will be excellent. Okay. So let's do the Chatbook. So I'm gonna press Control N. Oh no, that's not what I want. Control P. Command P. Chatbook.js. Boom. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So here's our Chatbook component. Okay. Chatbook. And we're gonna go down. And I'm gonna fill in some stuff for you guys. Okay. So I'm gonna make it pretty first, and then later you guys are gonna fill in some stuff for me. Okay. So you guys can wake up soon. I promise. All right. So here's my thing. We're gonna say a div, and it's gonna have this. Oh no. Okay. Does that work? Okay, that works. Okay. And it's gonna be a flexbox. Okay. And it's gonna be a relative position, and we're gonna call it Chatbook container. Again, this is just a style, so don't be too concerned. Okay. Cool. We'll put this in parentheses because we're good coders. Okay. And then in here, we're gonna have another div, and it's gonna be called Chatbook Chat Container. It's also gonna be relative. Okay. Cool. Okay. So now we have this, right? We have this, and why is my thing here?
Because you put the slash in it.
Okay. So we're gonna now. What do we want to do? Which component do we have? Chat. Yeah, we're adding chat. Thank you, friend. Okay, so we're gonna add chat. What prop does chat take? Data. Yeah. All right. So chat takes a prop called data. Okay. Now, for now, we're just gonna fill it in with dummy data. So up top, at the very top, I'm gonna scroll so it's over here. At the very top of the component, okay, we're gonna make some data, just some like fake data. Is everybody okay with that? So before we populate with real data, we're gonna put fake data. I do this all the time because I'm a front-end guy and I hate servers. So I don't want to deal with that stuff. I make Aaron do it for me. So then I populate fake data and I tell Aaron, fill this in with real stuff. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna make a fake a user called allChat. Okay, this actually isn't fake data. This is just a filler. So remember when we were talking about our plan, right? Each active chat needs a recipient, right? And the recipient's just a user. Do we have a user for allChat? No. It's not in your database, right? There's no user called allChat in your database. So we make a special case for it. That's what we're doing here. Okay? So his ID is going to be allChat because we're really creative. And his name, oops, this is a colon, is also going to be allChat. Oh, sweet. Yeah, can we follow along? Just a fake data. Or this is not fake data. This is just a filler. But now we're gonna make some test data. Okay? So let's make some test data. Alright, so the first data, if you guys, so everybody go look at weblab.2/chatbookdocs. If you guys open the message data, if you look at the message data, what does it have? Well, it has a sender. So I'm gonna put one, so a sender. And let's make that me, okay, because, why not? 0. My ID is gonna be 0, because I'm bored. And my name is Alex. And again, this should be a colon. What is wrong with me? Cool. Sweet. Okay. And then we also need some content. So what is my content going to be? How about I love Aaron's sippy cup? Okay, that's my content. All right, and then let's put another one because, you know, this stuff is more fun with more data. So let's go with Nick. His ID is 1. His name is going to be Nick. And what is his message going to be? Well, it's going to be, I spend too much time on Piazza. Okay, that's his. Okay, big data. Everyone with me? Yeah? Sweet. Okay, so now we have some messages. We need to fill the, what's it called? The chat data component, right? So they're like the type chat data. So this thing is going to be of type chat data. So this is type chat data. And chat data, it just contains a recipient and some messages, okay? So for the messages, we'll put test messages. And for the recipient, we'll put all chat. Okay, so that was a lot. So let's just go back and see what we did, okay? Just to be very sure. We made this all chat placeholder, which is just a fake user for all chat, because we don't have a real user for all chat. Then we made some test messages. These all follow the message data type that we defined, okay? And we put some messages in here. And then we made some test data, just for fun. And then we're gonna put this, we're putting it in here. Okay, so we're gonna put data in here, okay? Bring data in here. Test data. So what does this do? It passes our test data down as a prop in the chat. You guys look at that. See the arrow? The arrow right there? Props data. That's this thing. We just did it. Yay. Okay. Now, let's step up for the check. Too fast? Too slow? Just right?
Just right.
Okay, no react. Okay, I got 1 thumbs up. I'll take it. All right, Jerry, one question. Do you have a question? Or, oh, was that for just right? Oh, 2 thumbs up. I'll take it. Okay, so any questions on what we've done so far? I promise, this is the longest period you're going to see me just coding. I see some people just like, it's okay. I understand. Noah fell asleep last night too. Okay, so, alright, so now it's your turn. Are you guys excited? Let's give me extra. Okay, so exercise 1. So what I want you guys to do is I want you all to open a Git terminal. Actually, let's do it together. Let's do it together. We're going to open up a terminal. It's going to be excellent. Open up a terminal. And we're going to go to a terminal. Alright? Can people look up when they're done getting to a terminal? Alright. Who's at a terminal? Raise your hand. Okay. Who still needs more time? Nobody. Okay, excellent. Okay, so we're going to do a pretty cool git pull. Oh, okay, so we're going to git checkout. Whatever. You guys probably don't whatever, but sorry. Don't ignore this. Don't look. Everybody close your eyes. Close your eyes. Okay, so we're going to get checkout. Alright, we're going to do a git pull, and I can look in. Alright, you're going to git pull. Alright, then we're going to go do a git checkout. Right? And which branch are we going to check out? That one. Workshop 7. And then we're going to say step 1. Boom. Baby. Alright. Nice, cool checkout. Okay. Alright. So you can follow that command up there. So once you're done with that, we're going to go to VS Code. We're going to go to VS Code. We'll finish still typing. Who needs more time to check out? It's okay. Guys, it's okay. It's okay. Checking out is sometimes really difficult because you have like issues. Okay, people are out here. Let's go to VS Code, and I'm going to close all my tabs so it looks like yours, okay? Looks like yours. We're going to do pretty sweet Command or Control P. And then we're going to type Chatbook. Enter. Bam. Alright, chatbook.js in the books. Alright, so now, if you guys scroll down to render, you guys see this is step 1. Now this is on line 75. If you guys can't find line 75, quick tip. Press Control or Command P. type a colon, and then 75. Boom. We're all together now. Okay? Flash magic. So if you type colon followed by a number, it'll hop you to the line number. Alright. So you guys can see on here that we have a to-do for you. So what I want you to do, can I change the slide, guys? Everybody here? Who needs more time? Who's done? Getting here. Okay. Let's switch over to the slide. I want you guys, so right now all the data is hard coded, right? And it const. That's kind of gross. In React, you don't want like random const flying around. We want to hold our data in state, right? That's the entire point. We want to hold it in state. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to add the state active chat to Chatbook. Okay, active chat. So as a reminder, active chat should have two parameters, and you can look at it on the types of APIs thing. But it should have a recipient and a list of messages. Hint, we already made this data, right? It's sitting in your const test data. So you can just copy that over in your state. Okay? So that's this. And then we want to initialize the state with this thing right here. Where do we initialize state? You guys remember? Constructor, yeah. So you probably want to initialize it in the constructor. I'll come back one sec. I'll come back to this in a second. Okay? So if you scroll to the constructor really fast, there's nothing to do, right? You're gonna add the state. So what I want you guys to do is take 5 minutes, work with your partner, and let's fill this state right now. Okay? All right. So take 5 minutes, give it a go. Cool. Work with your partner. And raise your hand if you have questions. Oh, I'm like 3 minutes behind. Yeah, I'm fine. 3 minutes behind, I'll take this. Do you guys need help? Raise your hand. Stop blaming me. Alright, 2 fields. Add a Chatbook. Boom. Alright, take a walk up. Sweet. Alright. Does anyone need help? Raise your hand. Raise your hand, help. It's okay. Okay, so the point of today, okay, is we're pretty much going to do everything we've done last week again. But this time, hopefully, you guys are going to be super good at it. So don't worry, here's that again. Have you been following the slides? There's nothing called test data. So test data is like a little test messages. Oh, yeah, no, we don't need, we just coded test data. It's not, wait. I removed it from this chat because we don't need it. It's really cool. Yeah, because you don't need to put it in state. And the state is test data now. This test data is now vestigial. Vestigial?
You're right. You're right. No, you're right.
Yeah, I'm right. What are you saying? I'm right. I'm always right. I'm just kidding. I'm always right.
It's not easy to use the. It was in the live demo.
It was in the live. Do you guys know what test data is? Yeah? You guys, we did it, right? Alright. Corey's confused. But it's because my branches are bad. It's not because Alright. Who is done already? Who are the awesome big boys who can implement state really, really fast? Okay, I'll give you guys a couple more minutes. Those of you guys that are finished, we'll just jump. take things at a leisurely pace. Stroll. You guys need help? Raise your hand. Question on the wall. Oh, shoot.
Oh, that's a question.
Okay, who wants more time? Who wants more time? Raise your hand. It's okay. Okay, we'll take a little bit longer, okay? It's okay. Really isn't really anything. IAP is fun, guys. IAP is fun time. It's my last IAP. Alright, who needs a little more time? Okay, it's okay if you haven't finished, don't worry. We're gonna move on now, okay? Don't worry if it hasn't gotten completely finished. Who got the state? Who got the state? Great job, guys. Excellent. Excellent work. It's okay if you didn't get it. This is why we're doing this. We're reviewing, right? We're reviewing. So let's do it together. Let's do it together. That'll be excellent. All right. I will almost certainly mess this up. Okay. Oh man. No. Okay. So we're gonna add some state. Yeah. You guys ready? You guys ready? All right. So in here, we're gonna say this dot state. Right? This is how we initialize state, yeah? This dot state equals, we're gonna make a new object. What's in that object? Well, it's called active chat, right? Talk about it. So this is initializing a state called active chat. Inside active chat, what do we have? We have a recipient. What did you guys initialize the recipient to? All chat, good. What did you guys initialize the messages to? Anyone? Test messages? Is that what you guys did? Yeah? Test messages? Bob. Yay, you guys initialized state. Good job. Right? You guys initialized state. Okay, so that was on line 53. Right, so all we did was we added state, active chat, and inside was recipient and messages. Right? Any questions on that? Questions? Okay, so now we're gonna do a light scroll down to render. Down to render. Okay? And then instead of this stuff, this can go in the garbage can. What do you guys want to put in? What do you guys want to put in? How do we call state? Yeah.
This state dot active chat.
Excellent. And you can see it right here in VS Code. Active chat. Boom. Yeah. Boom. Okay. Now. the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's go over here. Start it. So we're going to do an npm start. Okay. And we're going to do an npm run hot loader. npm start, npm run hot loader. And then we're going to go over to our Chrome. And then we're going to log in. Boom. You guys have messages. Look, they look so good. Yay. I'm the only one that's excited. Even staff's not excited. They're like, you really getting excited over this? Okay, so we have some messages. Yeah. Any questions on how I got here? Questions? Okay. Cool. If you guys know any help, you can raise your hand. Cool. All right. Is it okay to move on? Is that Rachel to move on? Let's do a quick comprehension check. That was good, and people got it. That was not good, and I'm confused. Go. Okay. So most of you guys see some thumbs. Good. That's great. Okay. That's okay. Let's keep going, and we'll practice more on the go. So let's now everybody. Let's come back and watch me code again. Okay, so again, it's gonna be like Twitch. So we're gonna watch me code. I am going to git checkout workshop 7 step 2. Boom. Oh man, I need to reset hard. Okay. All right. So now I'm in the right place. Do you need help or? Hey. Where's help? Alright, so we're on workshop 2. Everybody on step 2? Yeah? You guys want to go on your computer to make sure you understand what's going on here. Okay? So now, don't code with me, please, or I guess you can if you really want to, but I recommend against it. Okay. So we're on workshop 2. What we're going to do now, our next step is we're going to implement that message model in the backend. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay, so this thing is what we want to do when we're saving. We're saving the message. Where's my? Oh. So we're saving the message, right? Remember when I during the recap lecture where I was like, when you guys want to. Sorry. So when you guys want to save stuff, right? All we need to do is make a schema for it. Okay? So now we're going to make a schema for message. Original plan? Make a schema for message? Okay, so let's do it. So we're going to open up command or control P message.js. Now, this message you might see it's under server. We're back in the server. Okay, so we're back in the server. So we're going to make a new message. A schema. Right. So, what does a message schema look like? Well, there's a sender, right? And the ID is a string. And the name is a string, right? And then we have a recipient. ID is a string. String. Name is a string. And then we have a timestamp. Now, this timestamp, I don't want you guys to worry about it, okay? What Mongo does is that whenever you save something into the database, it will populate this timestamp with date.now. Okay? So you guys don't need to worry about it. Mongo automatically is like, hey, you just sent me a message. Let me look at my watch. And then it populates time. Right? So don't worry about it. Timestamp pay. Sad. And then we have content. Okay, we just made a schema. Yeah? Had a recipient, a sender, a timestamp, and a content. Content is just a string. So if you guys want to make your own schema, just do the same thing. Everybody understand that? Questions? Questions on making a schema? Okay, good. Now whenever we want to, we're gonna make a message route. Okay. So this thing right here, right? Remember that first one of the slides we were talking about the plan? We want a way to send messages over. Send messages, okay? And to do that, we're going to create a post endpoint called /API/message. So right here, okay? So we're going to press Command or Control P and go to API.js. API.js, right? And then inside here, we're going to make a new message. So, where is it? It's on line, oh, it's on line 82. Oh, okay, so I don't know where it is. So I'm going to type Control P or Command P, :82. Oh, that's great. Right. So we're going to implement the message route here. Do you guys remember how to make message routes? Don't worry, because I do. All right, so we'll make a post to /message. Remember, this thing is just where the endpoint is, right? So this is /message, /message. Should I say that /message. Okay, and this is going to point to an API message. Okay, so now whenever you go to API message, it's going to come here. So what do we want to do when we get API message? Well, that's a good question. So when we get a new message, first thing we're going to do is we're going to console log it. Who remembers what console log does? What does it do? Print stuff. Good. Wicked smart. You are wicked smart. Okay. So it prints stuff. Okay, so that's great. That's good. So we received a chat message from rec.user.name. So this is a lot. We're going to go over it in 1 second. So what this is doing is it's saying whenever we get a new chat message, we're going to log rec.user.name. Holy, rec.user. We talked about that. In fact, we had a 3x thing for emphasis. Rec.user is just who's currently making the post request, right? It tells us who's currently making post request. So it's going to say, I got a chat message from this person, and the content is just rec.body.content. You guys might see on the Chatbook docs, hey Nick, it's not Chatbook docs, right? Okay, on the Chatbook docs, and you go to the message API route, /API/message, we pass in a content. So that's this guy, that's this boy right here. Sweet, okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to insert this message into the DB, :D. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make a new message. This is what you guys do every single time you guys make these kinds of calls, right? You're going to make a new message, and then inside we're going to, oh my dearest, okay, so that's cool. We're going to make a recipient. Who's the recipient? Rec.body.what? It's not a trick question. Okay. Rec.body recipient. Okay, and then the sender. The sender is just going to be whoever currently sent the message, right? And that's rec.user. So we're going to say the ID is rec.user._ID, and the name is rec.user.name. Yeah? That's just the current user, right? Rec.user. Sweet. The content, what's the content? What's the content? Someone help? I'm lost. I don't know what's happening. Oh, amazing. Beautiful. Write that bio. Alrighty. Life is great. Okay. Now we want to save this message. We want to save the message. Yeah? How do we save the message again? Oh, I don't know. Let's weblab.2/ what is it? Server? Oh wait, what's it called? Mongo snippets. Oh, it's amazing. Alrighty here. What do we got? Oh, look at this beautiful thing. Oh, look at that. All right, excellent. So we're going to scroll down. You know what? We're just going to Control F for save. Oh, looks like we just do a save. Yeah? We see that? All right, the nice copy paste. Okay, so we're just going to copy paste this thing in. Second copy paste fine. Let's hope. Oh, beautiful. Okay. So, but we're not saving a student. What are we saving? Message. Message not save. Easy as pie. We just copy paste from Mongo snippets. Yeah. All right, we saved it. Excellent. All right. So I wrote a note for myself that says don't go to Chrome yet. I don't know what it means, but whatever. It's okay. All right. So we're gonna also implement the chat route. So what's the chat route? We have a way of sending messages. We need a way of getting messages back. Yeah. Everybody agree? Messages back. So let's make that. So router. Is it a post or a GET request? Who thinks it's a GET request? Who thinks it's a post request? Anyone think it's a post request? But the answer's up there. It's a GET. My quiz was open note. But it's a GET, right? Because we're getting data from the server. We're saying like, hey server, give me a chat. Okay. Oh, by the way, for our purposes, a chat is like a conversation, so it's a bunch of messages. A message is a single individual message. So when we say get chat, we're like, give me a whole conversation. Okay, so router.get. Where's that go? /chat. Excellent. Rex. And then we're gonna do this. Yeah? It's just setting it up. Alright. And then let's figure out how to get stuff. So how do we find things in a database? I wonder. Finding with a query. That looks promising. Yeah, sure. So we need to do a dot find. Right? We need to do a dot find. So let's do that. So we're going to do message dot find query dot then messages. So once we get the messages back, what do you want to do with them? What are we going to do? Well, we want to send them back to the front end. We're going to pick this part in a second. But this query, we still need to fill the query, right? We still need to fill the query. So let's go back. What is a query? What is a query? Oh, here. Oh, here's a query. Oh, okay, so let's copy paste that. So, query. All right, so we don't want name Tim, age 21, right? We want to check that the recipient .id is equal to what? It's going to be equal to, well, for now, let's make it all chat. Okay, so for right now, we're like, whenever we make a chat, we're only going to get back all chat. Does everybody chill with that? You guys good? No DMs yet. That's like advanced stuff. Okay, so we'll do that tomorrow. So we're going to get back all chat, right? And then we're going to find on square. Copy paste it over from the Mongo docs, okay? And then once we got it, you guys know what res.send does? What's res.send? What's it do? Yeah, it sends it back, right? It's like, here's the stuff. Just gonna fast pitch it back to the front end. I don't play baseball, but like, back to the front end, right? And the front end can now catch it. Cool. Nice. So this is all done, right? So we've set the server. So what I'm going to do is, if you guys are following along, but please don't feel the need to do this, I'm going to check out to workshop 7, step 3. Okay? So we're on the next step now, but don't feel like you need to do this. Okay, so we're check out step 3. And okay, so we set up this thing, right? We set up this GET request and the POST request. So we set up the API. So the server is ready. Yeah? Everybody get the server ready? What's missing? The front end. The front end has no way of calling the server yet, right? So it's kind of like the server's like, oh, give me some requests. And the front end's like, I don't know how to do that yet. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make the front end actually send stuff to the back end. So here's how that's going to work, okay? We're going to open up, nice, okay. We're going to open up new post input. And that includes the component new message, yeah? Inside new message, we want to implement this send message thing. All right, so let's do that right now. Okay. Oh, you know what we never did? We never actually did this thing. So we never console locked the value. Let's make sure that works because why not? It's fun. Okay, so Remember earlier when we were making this component here and we said we would console log it? Let's make sure that works. Hello, I am a ruinator. Oh, sweet, okay, console logs. So we know this thing connects. Okay. I mean, like, nice. Good job, Alex. I'm proud of you. Okay, so that works. So let's implement step 3. Okay, so instead of console logging, now we want to send a post request to the backend, right? Post request to the backend. How do we do that? How do we do that? Does everyone remember how to make a post request? What do we type? It's a not a trick question, guys. Yeah.
Just do post.
Yeah. And what do we put here?
Then you put in the route.
Which route are we going to, guys? Look at the thing. Which route?
API /.
Hey, thanks, friend. API/message. All right, nice. Okay. And then what we're gonna do? Well, we want to post some params, right? Because if you guys look in web.2/chatbook docs, this API/message, it takes some parameters. What parameters does it take? Well, it takes the recipient, and it takes some content. Okay, so first of all, what's the content gonna be? The content is whatever we just passed in, right? The content is whatever we just passed in. I see no nods. The content we just passed in? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's value, right? Okay. And the recipient, what's the recipient? Well, it's just this dot prop stuff recipient. Because remember, we pass in, look at there. What do we pass in? What do we pass into this component? We pass in the prop recipient. Yeah? So when we're making this message call, we can just call this dot props dot recipient. That's why we pass props, because then we can just access them and they're easy to use, yeah? Sweet. Okay, so let's try it. So if this works, right, we should see a console log in our backend. It's like, hey, you just sent a message. All right, let's do it. What message do you guys want to send? Come on, it's supposed to be fun, guys. I'm having fun. You guys having fun? What message are we going to send? Staff?
I love web development.
I love web lab development. Okay. Submit. Okay, let's check. Whoa, okay, it worked. Alright, so we got a message in the backend. That's revolutionary. We just connected our backend to our front end via this post request. Okay? And it got saved into our database. Right? That's in our database. Cool. So that's step 2. That's step 2. Alright. Everybody still feeling okay? Everybody's good? Good? Okay, so we're almost there. We're almost there, guys, I promise. So we flip myself again. So we can send messages. What's left? What's left? Yeah. We need more messages, right? We need to get them back. Yeah? Right now we can only send, we can't get the messages from the server, right? Because it's hard code in the state. Okay, so we need to get the messages from the server. How do we get the messages from the server? What kind of request do we make? Is it a get or a post? Is it a get or is it a post? It's a get. Great work, team. I'm so proud of you. All right. It's also on the slide. But yes, we made a get request. Yeah? Let's make a get request. So, I am going to be a good coder boy, and I'm going to implement this. What? Oh, it's over here. So, where do we get the messages? Okay, so this is a really good question, right? So, remember, we want to get the messages wherever the state is being held. Pop quiz. Where is the messages state being held? Chatbook. It's in Chatbook. I heard someone say Chatbook. So let's go to Chatbook. So I'm going to do a nice, good old Command or Control P. Oh wait, I should probably check out first. Yeah, let's check out. So I'm going to do get reset hard. Again, you don't have to do this. Next step is going to be. Oh wait, no. Next step. Next step we're coding together. So it'll be fine. Okay. So we're going to check out workshop 7. Which step are we on? 4. Okay. And then we're gonna have this, we're gonna go to Command and Control P, Chatbook.js. And you can see here that I have this function called load message history, okay? And what that's gonna do is it's gonna load all the message history from a recipient. Everybody good with that? I just put it out in a function, okay? So let's make that get request. Let's make that get. So we're gonna do a pretty nice get. Okay, what's our API that we go to? Which endpoint? We already made it. It's in the back end, remember? Chat. Nice. Yeah, it's chat. Good job, guys. Okay, so so what do we want to pass in as parameters? So you go into Chatbook docs. You guys are doing great. We're almost done. You guys go to Chatbook docs. You can see that the get for chat, it takes in some parameters. What parameters does it take? Well, it takes the recipient ID. So we're going to say our recipient is recipient dot underscore ID. Okay? And we can do that because we pass in the recipient as a argument, an argument function. Okay? So there's that. And then it's a promise, right? So we're going to say dot then, remember, endpoint, dot then, and then we're going to say, what in the world do we want to do with our messages? What in the world indeed? Okay, so we get all the messages back, then what do we want to do? Well, let's log them first, just for clarity, right? Yeah, we want to do that? And let's just see what happens. So this is what's going to happen when we load the message history, yeah? So let's go down. And then where do we make the calls for GET requests? It's a component mouse right here. Right, so we're going to say this dot load message history. Now you guys are like, Alex, why in the world would we make this call in a component mount? And I'd be like, remember back in day 2? Our first React lecture, we're like, component mount would make the API calls in there. I was like, why, man? Why? Well, it's because these API calls take time to happen, right? So we want to make the call after our first render has appeared. So after the website already shows up and you have some like filler data, maybe like a loading screen or something, right? Then we make the network calls, and then we get the data back, and then we update the state. Right? So we're gonna do that in 1 second. But first, let's just make sure this is loading correctly. Okay? Make sure this is loading. So let's go in here. We're gonna do a nice login. Right? Boom. Looks like we have some nice messages going on. Yeah? We see that? So let's instead of console logging them, we're gonna set state. You guys ready to set state? So we're gonna do this dot set state, right? And then we are going to say, all right, let us do this. So we're gonna make a new object, right? And inside the object, we have the same thing, active chat, right? Active chat. This is the state we initialized earlier, right? It's just active chat. And then our recipient, well, it's just the recipient that's currently in the messages, right? That's all. And then our messages are just the messages. Yeah? Right? So we just update the state to get the new messages that we got. Everybody okay with this? Yeah? Thumbs up and thumbs down on this GET request?
For clarity, do you want to have new messages like we did yesterday?
Oh, let's do new messages. That's a great idea. So we're going to call this new messages. Let's log this. Our messages is going to be new messages. Okay. Same thing, but better words. Yeah. Okay. So now let's try it. Log in. Please work. God. All right. So it worked. Okay. Now is the time for thunderous applause. I didn't actually mean for that to be better. Okay, so it works now. So let's say like, hello, friendos. I'll submit. And then boom, I refresh. Yo, chat works. And we did it in like an hour. Yeah. Okay, you guys don't seem that excited. But maybe that's because we have to refresh the freaking page every time we want to see our new chat messages, right? Yeah, that, like, can you imagine if Facebook Messenger required you to refresh the page every time you had it? It's like pretty bad, right? Okay, sweet, okay. We're gonna go on next to the next topic in a second. But first, questions on this? Questions on this? we're like 3 minutes behind schedule, so things are going pretty well. No questions? You don't feel good about this? Okay, good. Okay, so let's do that. Now this is the fun part. All right. No, it's not. Okay, so now we're gonna make it so you don't have to refresh. Okay, we're gonna make it so you don't have to refresh. So how are we gonna do that? Well, turns out that there's a fun little library that we're gonna learn in this class called Socket.io. That's gonna help us do that. Okay, so lecture time. Get in lecture mode. All right, let's do it. So first, we have a cat named Fluffy. All right, his name is Fluffy. He likes to sleep. Okay, and he also has a cat book because all cool cats have a cat book. And we also have Whiskers and Jeff, and they're both cats, and they're also cool cats. So they also have a cat book. Now here's the problem. Fluffy heard about this cool new feature called Chatbook and wants to send messages to Whiskers and Jeff. Right. So Fluffy's gonna post the message meow to the server, and the server is gonna be like, okay, ideally, in an ideal world, right, what's gonna happen is this. So the server's gonna be like, hey guys, guess what? Fluffy just said meow. Okay, but that doesn't work. Okay. So what I'm trying to get at here is this communication is not, we haven't learned it yet. There's no way for a server to initiate communication. So we've done everything over HTTP, right? You guys remember with Noah's lecture and stuff? Right? So the way we do this is clients will send a request to the server. And the server will be like, okay, sweet, I'll respond to you. The server can't just send data to the client unless the client requests for it. Okay? We've never done anything where the server just immediately just sends data over. That's an issue when it comes to chat, right? Because the server needs to update everybody every time a new message is sent through. Does everybody understand the motivation here? Okay? HTTP is not good enough. And in fact, most of you guys are going to use Socket in your app, right? Because you don't want to refresh the page every time you get an update. That's really dumb, right? So, HTTP, client initiated. We want to have a thing that's server initiated. So, first, let's pursue an alternative approach. So there's another thing that we can do. It's called polling, right? So here's how that works. You have server, and you have Jeff. And Jeff is like, hey, server, do we have any new messages yet? And the server's like, nope, not yet. Okay, and then a little later, Jeff's like, hey, got any messages? And the server's like, nope, not yet. And then he asks, hey, any new messages? And then he's like, yeah, Fluffy just sent me out. So this requires Jeff to constantly ping the server. He's like, hey, any new messages? Like every couple seconds, right? You guys see how that's kind of wasteful and clunky? So we don't want to do that. Nuh-uh, bad, right? So instead, we want to pursue a better way. And there is a better way. It's called WebSockets. And we're going to use a library called Socket.io that's going to help us do this, okay? So here's how Socket.io works. Jeff is like, hey, let's socket to the server. And this is called the handshake. And the socket's like, okay. And then it upgrades this connection into a socket connection. So now the server is allowed to send stuff over to Jeff. Okay. Now, you guys will never have to make this handshake and upgrade yourselves because we've done it for you. So you can just use socket as is. But it's important to understand how it works. So at the very beginning, what happens is the client and server communicate and both agree to start using socket, and they start using socket. So a little bit later, in red, which indicates socket, the server can proactively tell the client, hey, by the way, Fluffy just said meow. And we don't need to pull the server every couple seconds. It's crazy, it's amazing. WebSockets are so cool. Okay, so that's the kind of setup here, right? So here's a little GIF that kind of shows it. So you have a handshake to the server, and the server will send an upgrade back. And then you upgrade the connection, and now you can send data however you want. Yeah? Okay, cool. So I'll let that run once because I spent a while looking for this GIF. And I found it, so I'm happy. Yeah, so now you can send data. Okay. So here's how we broadcast using WebSockets, which is what WS stands for. So Fluffy says, hey, let's post a message called meow. And then the server's like, oh, sweet, okay. I'll send the fact that there's a new message called meow to everyone. No need for pull. So So here's the basic usage for how we're going to do it in this class. Okay. Socket.getIO.emit will emit from the server to everybody currently connected to the server. Okay? So if you call this function, it'll just emit out an event to everybody. This thing, if you call on the client, it's going to start up a little listener that constantly listens for the message. It's just sit there and wait. And then when it receives this message, it'll run this callback function. Okay? So every time you call socket.on, you can think you have like a little troll sitting at a computer waiting for the message. Okay? And then when it gets the message, it's like, oh, sweet, and then it runs the function. That's not the time. And on the server, you just emit stuff. So you're like, here's the message, you get a message, right? So server gives out messages. So let's practice this. So professors and students, right? So professors over here, will emit out new presets. Okay? So the professor will emit a new preset to the students. And then when the students on a new preset, they're gonna start working. You guys see the relationship here? So the professor's like the server, it emits a preset, and on new preset, the students will start working, which is the callback function, right? So whenever you get a new preset, start working. But more in reality, it's like they'll emit a new preset, right, with some questions, and then on new preset, students will procrastinate until it's due tomorrow, and then they'll solve the preset. So this is like kind of the setup. Everybody understand that? Yeah. Okay, so for us, here's how it's going to work. Server is going to emit a message with a message object. Clients on message are going to do something. Okay, they're going to do something. Yeah, everybody good with that plan? Okay. So, without further ado, let's work on socket and Chatbook. But first, questions on socket? Anybody? Yeah.
I'm not sure if it works like this, but if you're sending stuff back and forth, if you send the server data, can it return something else? Instead of messages, if you send it a message, can it send something else back?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the question was, can you send from a client to a server and have the server respond with something? Is that idea? Yeah? Okay. So you can do that. You can send messages from the client to the server, and the server can just send whatever it wants back on. Because the server can also have this .on thing. In this class, we don't do that. To make it simple for you guys, all messages from the server to the client use socket, and all messages from the client to the server use HTTP. Does that make sense? So that way you don't have to worry about this bidirectional thing. And instead of, so what you guys are going to see later is whenever we get a message through the post request, you guys remember that post request? Not get API chat, but post API message. So whenever on that post API message, our server is going to emit an event. So it's kind of similar to what you're saying. Does that answer your question? Great question. Anything else? Yeah.
Is it still polling under the hood, or is there something else?
No, it is no longer polling under the hood. Though once it disconnects, it starts polling. But don't worry about what's happening. You can read about it online. It's a different protocol. So we've been doing HTTP. WebSockets run on the WS protocol. So instead of HTTP : // it's WS : // It's just different. Yeah.
What's the second parameter?
Second parameter. This thing?
Yeah.
Good question. I'm so sorry. That CB stands for callback. So it's a callback function. So what this means is on message, run this function, whatever it is. Okay. Are there questions on socket? Questions on socket? Don't worry, we're gonna do this today and tomorrow. So you guys know. Seconds. Yeah, so socket's pretty similar to HTTP, right? Just a little bit different, I guess. Alright, so let's socketify Chatbook, shall we? Great. Okay, so first things first, if you guys go to see the bottom left right of that screen, you see it says weblab.2/server socket. So that is a file, that's a document with all the descriptions, the functions that we've written for you. And I'm going to show you guys those functions now, okay? So on my thing, you guys want to follow me? You don't have to follow me. I'm going to press Command P, and I'm going to pull up server socket.js. This file we wrote for you, you don't have to edit it, but you might need to if you want more functionality out of your socket, okay? And we've defined all these functions for you. So, like, get all connected users are going to give you back all the users that are currently connected to the socket. Get socket from socket ID, things like this. And we'll see how to use this as today and tomorrow goes on, okay? But the one we're concerned about here is get.io. So socket.getIO is just going to return back the IO object, which you guys can use to emit, like we saw in our slides. Okay, guys? So you guys can read more about this on the documentation if you want, but these functions we provided for you. And I want you guys to reference those docs as we go to see what the functions do. Sound good? Yeah? Okay. Let's get to coding. This is going to be pretty short, and then we'll put up a Chatbook and then we'll be done. Okay? So things are growing fast. We're gonna go to API.js. Okay. And I want you guys to code with me. So let's go to our Git terminal. We're gonna go git reset --hard. And if you haven't git pulled yet, do a git pull. That comes in. What's going on? Oh yeah. Don't worry, mine broke because mine gets pushed to your guys' shooter. I didn't send my upstream yet. I just get push dash all and install it. Alright. Everybody there? If you need help, if your repo is like broken and like completely busted, you can raise your hand. Alright, so we're gonna get checkout, workshop 7. Oh, someone needs help. Dash step 5. Okay? Workshop 7 step 5. Boom. Boom. Alright. Now we're at step 5, yeah? So this is where we left off. Okay, so let's make things socketified. So we're gonna go over to VS Code. I'm gonna close everything out. So feel free to code with me. I'm gonna go a lot slower. Okay, so everything's good. Does anyone else need help checking out? Raise your hand if you're still help checking out. So everybody's on workshop 5, step 5, or workshop 7, step 5? Raise your hand if you're at workshop 7, step 5. Ah, great. It's great, guys. Okay, raise your hand if you're at VS Code now. You're at VS Code? Okay, most of you, okay. I'm going to type Control or Command P and open up API.js. Boom. Right? And then we're going to type, we're going to scroll down to this message API route. If you don't know what that is, you can type Control or Command P, colon, 85. You guys okay? Salad? Oh, where's salad? Where's your salad? I don't need that. I'm hungry. I need no trouble. Anyways, is everyone there? Yeah? Raise your hand there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go down, and you can see that there's a to-do here. You're going to emit to all clients that a message was received. Okay? So, here, we want to get the IO object, right? So we're going to do socket. We're going to follow the thing on the slides. Get IO. Alright. Socket get IO. And I'm going to say we want to emit. Okay? So this is server initiated. We're going to emit to everybody. What do you guys want to emit? What's the message? What's the event called again? You guys remember? I remember. It's a message. Okay? So we're going to emit a message out to everybody. And what do we want to be in the message? It's just this object. Do you have a question? Oh, here. Okay. Cool. We just emitted the message to everybody that's connected. Okay. So that's pretty sweet. That's pretty sweet. So we'll give this a nice little save, right? And that's all we need on the server. Sockets like very short syntax-wise. Okay. Now let's go to Chatbook. Okay. Let's go to Chatbook in a second, but let's pause for a sec. Everybody good? Everybody understand this part? We just emitted from the API. That's pretty good. All right, so we're gonna we're going to Control or Command P, Chatbook.js. Boom. Oh, beautiful. And you guys, if you scroll down to line 57, so Command P, line 57, boom. You have this thing here. And we need to add a socket.on. Socket.on. So we're going to say, all right, socket.on. Now, what message, what event are we listening for? Message. Hey, there we go. Good work, team. All right, so whenever we get a message event, what do we want to do? What do we want to do? Well, first of all, we need to add a function here, right? So we're going to say, whatever returns, which we're going to put in data. So what is it going to be in data? What's going to be in data? It's just going to be that message object that we just sent earlier. Does that make sense, guys? So it's gonna go on the server and it's gonna package it up nice in a little box and ship it over to the server ship it over to Chatbook via a socket. And then on the socket side, it's gonna package nicely up in this data object. Okay? And then we're gonna say, all right, let's do this. We're gonna say this dot set state. Okay. And what do I want to set the state to? I want to set to the previous state. Okay, so this is funny React syntax. And we're going to teach this in advanced React, right, Nick? Yes, we are. Okay, but for now, bear with me. What this means is we're just passing in the old state to a function that's going to return the new state. Okay, so you guys know how usually when we use this.set state, we just put in the new state? So another way to do it is we provide a function that takes in the old state and outputs the new state. So that's what we're doing here. That's all. Okay. It looks really complicated, but really we're just doing the same old set state. But instead, we're doing this. So our active chat, right? Our chat. Does the recipient change? Does the recipient change when we get a new message? I see some head shaking. Who thinks no? Who thinks no? Okay. Who thinks yes? Okay, so the no's have it. All right, so we're going to say prev state active chat recipient, right? That's just the same old recipient from the last time. Does everybody see that? Because it's the previous state's active chat recipient. So we just haven't changed it. Yeah, it's just the same. Now let's deal with messages. Messages we want to change, right? That's the entire point of this thing. So we're going to do prev state just waiting for people to. Okay, I hear less keys now. Okay. Prev state dot active chat, right? Dot messages. And we need to change it somehow, right? So in the JavaScript lecture, did we talk about concat? What's that? Okay. Well, in JavaScript, there's a funny little method you can call that's called concat. And what that does is it just adds items to a list. Okay? And it returns a new list. That's all it does. So this is the old list. Everybody agree? This is the old list of messages. It's pre-state.active messages. We're gonna concat, which means just add on our new message, which is data. Ooh. I have an error. Why do I have an error? Well, it's because this needs to be in parentheses. Right. Okay. Alright. Everybody got that? Yeah. So let's go over it one more time. Socket.on message means we're gonna listen for the message event on the socket. Okay? And then whatever that returns, the data, we're going to set the state based on the previous state. We're going to say active chat is now the same old recipient, we didn't change the recipient. And then for the messages, we're going to concat on the new message. Yes?
Why did you need to put the thing in parentheses?
It's a syntax thing for React. And it's for this function. Don't worry, try it. We're returning that function object, that's why. A better description is when you put this curly brace, React doesn't know if you're trying to return this object or if this is a function, right? Like, because functions are also enclosed in curly braces, right? So React is like, the hell, man? What do you want from me? What do you want? So we put it in parentheses to help it clear its confusion. All right, so that's good. That's it. Yeah? That's it. Questions? Oh, we just quickly. People got it? Yeah? So that's all. That's how you write a socket emit and a socket don't. Okay, it's just a emit and a catch. And you guys are gonna practice this tomorrow, all right, when we do DMs. So we're gonna do DMs tomorrow and stuff. All right. So, but for now, all chat should work. So let's test it. Now, we're gonna go in here. Okay. We're gonna go and do this thing. npm start. Run npm run holler. Yeah. Please work. Okay. Okay. So then we're going to our Chrome console, and we're going to log in. Log in here. We're in chat. Mango. Submit. Boom. No refresh necessary. What? Okay. No one else. Okay. Well, that's great. Right. That's awesome. And now, you guys might notice that you guys didn't get Mango on your screens, right? So why is that? Because Socket's supposed to automatically update everything, right? Here's the issue. You guys are all connected to your own servers on your laptops. Which server am I connected to? Mine, right? I have a server on my laptop, you have a server on your laptop. We're all on different servers right now, yeah? So when I post to my server, it'll save the database, which we're all sharing right now, right? But it'll emit from my server. How many clients are on my server? Just one, it's just me. So my server will happily emit out a message, and it'll come to me and not any of you. But once you guys write your own apps, there will be one server, yeah? We won't all be on different servers. You guys will all be connecting to your website server. So Socket will emit to everybody. Does that make sense? So we didn't get as much of an aha moment as we wanted to, but that's because we can't share a server right now. Once you deploy to a server somewhere, like Heroku, which is what we're going to do later, suddenly everybody's going to share a server, and Socket will emit events to everybody. All right? So for now, it's just you. If you want to test it out, you can open an incognito tab, which I'll do now. So let's open an incognito tab. So split screen it. Split screen that thing. All right, so we're gonna log in.
Make sure to log in as a different Google account. So you have to have 2 Google accounts to do this.
I forgot my password. No, don't start. It was like, what is 66148? What is this? Wait. In there.
I got you.
So look at all my Amazon accounts, guys. Do you guys do the thing where you sign up for an Amazon like Prime account like every month? I probably shouldn't say that on record. Let's go to cut this out, right? I don't know if that's true. Alright, anyways, it's fine, don't worry. Alright, so in this chat, hello, Weblab, submit. Boom. Okay, now I have 2 clients on one server, right? That's why it's sort of scroll down. Oh. Boom. Yay! Okay, that cool worked. Alright, yeah? Song is awesome! That was super like, okay, I guess. Sure. Yeah, great job, guys. You guys did great. So, now you know how to input socket, yeah? Yeah? And every single socket endpoint looks like this. So, you guys are in great shape. Next week, what the frick? Tomorrow, next workshop, we are going to make this, but also with DMs. Because now you can like chat with friends and stuff. And things get a little more complicated. But we'll practice socket then, and it'll be great. Any last questions before I let you guys go?